Shalom, shalom. Today will be Isaiah 20. I'm sorry, we did so many of those. Jeremiah 21 through 25. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh when sovereign Zedekiah sent to him Pashur, son of Malchiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, saying, Please inquire of Yahweh on our behalf, for Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, has started fighting against us. It might be that Yahweh deals with us according to all his wondrous works, that he withdraws from us. That's so, oh my goodness, that is so, man. I'm not even 3 verses in and I'm already appalled. But Jeremiah said to them, Say this to Zedekiah. Thus said Yahweh Elohim of Israel. See, I am turning back the weapons of battle that are in your hands, with which you fight against the sovereign of Babel, the Kasdim who besiege you outside the wall, and I shall gather them inside this city. And I myself shall fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in displeasure and rage and great wrath. And I shall strike the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast. Let them die of a great pestilence. And afterward, declares Yahweh, I give Zedekiah, sovereign of Judah, his servants and the people, and such as are left in this city from the pestilence and the sword and the scarcity of food, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their life. And he shall strike them with the edge of the sword. He shall not pardon them, nor spare, nor have compassion. You shall also say this to this people, Thus said Yahweh, See, I have set before you the way of life and the way of death. Whoever stays in this city dies by the sword, by scarcity of food, and by pestilence. But whoever goes out and shall go over to the Kasdim who besiege you is going to live, and his life shall be as a prize to him. For I have set my face against this city, for evil and not for good, declares Yahweh. It is given into the hand of the sovereign of Babel, and he shall burn it with fire. And to the house of the sovereign of Judah, say, Hear the word of Yahweh. O house of David, thus said Yahweh, Render right ruling in the morning, and deliver him who has been robbed out of the hand of the oppressor, lest my wrath go out like fire and burn, with no one to quench it, because of the evil of your deeds. See, I am against you, O inhabitant of the valley, rock of the plain, declares Yahweh, who are saying, Who would come down against us, and who would come into our dwellings? And I shall punish you according to the fruit of your deeds, declares Yahweh. And I shall kindle a fire in its forest, and it shall consume all that is around it, that is around her. Thus said Yahweh, Go down to the house of the sovereign of Judah, and there you shall speak this word, and shall say, Hear the word of Yahweh, O sovereign of Judah. I'm so sorry. I remembered. I wanted to go, because he said, O house of David, thus said Yahweh, Render right ruling in the morning, and deliver him who has been robbed out of the hand of the oppressor. So I feel like if they heard that sentence, they're like, oh, okay, that's a lot of folks. How are we going to do that? Anyway, back to where we were. Hear the word of Yahweh, O sovereign of Judah, you who sit on the throne of David, you and your servants and your people who enter the gates. Thus said Yahweh, Do right ruling and righteousness, and deliver him who is robbed out of the hand of the oppressor. Do not maltreat, nor do violence to the sojourner, the fatherless, or the widow, nor shed innocent blood in this place. For if you certainly do this word, then there shall enter in by the gates of this house sovereigns sitting on the throne of David, riding on horses and in chariots, he and his servants and his people. But if you do not obey these words, I swear by myself, declares Yahweh, that this house shall become a ruin. For thus said Yahweh to the house of the sovereign of Judah, you are like Gilad to me, the head of Lebanon, but I shall make you a wilderness and cities which are not inhabited. And I shall prepare destroyers against you, each with his weapons, and they shall cut down your choice cedars and throw them into the fire. And many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say to one another, why has Yahweh done so to this great city? Then they shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh, their Elohim, and bow themselves to other mighty ones, and serve them. Do not weep for the dead, nor mourn for him. Weep bitterly for him who goes away, for he shall never come back, nor see the land of his birth. For thus said Yahweh concerning Shallum, son of Yoshiahu, sovereign of Judah, who reigned instead of Yoshiahu, his father, who went from his place. He shall never come back, but he shall die in the place where they have exiled him, and not see this land again. Woe to him who builds his house without righteousness, and his rooms without right ruling, who uses his neighbor's service without wages, and does not give him his wages, who says, I am going to build myself a wide house with spacious rooms, and cut out windows for it, paneling it with cedar and painting it in red. Do you reign because you enclose yourself in cedar? Did not your father eat and drink, and do right ruling and righteousness? Then it was well with him. He defended the cause of the poor and needy. Then it was well. Was this not to know me? Was this not to know me? Declares Yahweh. But your eyes and your heart are only upon your own greedy gain, and on shedding innocent blood, and on oppression, and on doing violence. Therefore thus said Yahweh concerning Yehoiakim, son of Yoshiahu, sovereign of Judah, let them not lament for him, alas, my brothers, or alas, my sister. Let them not lament for him, alas, master, or alas, his excellency. He shall be buried, the burial place of a donkey, dragged and thrown outside the gates of Jerusalem. Go up to Lebanon and cry out, and lift up your voice in Bashan, and cry from Abarim, for all your lovers are destroyed. I have spoken to you in your ease, but you said, I do not listen. This has been your way from your youth, for you did not obey my voice. Let all your shepherds be devoured by the wind, and your lovers go into captivity. Then you shall be ashamed and humiliated for all your evil. You who dwell in Lebanon, being nested in the cedars, how you shall groan when pangs come upon you, like the pains of a woman giving birth. As I live, declares Yahweh, through Konyahu, son of Yehoiakim, sovereign of Judah, were the signet of my right hand, were the signet on my right hand, and I would still put you off from there. And I shall give you into the hand of those who seek your life, into the hand of those whose face you fear, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, and the hand of the Chazdim. And I shall hurl you out, and your mother who bore you into another land where you were not born, and there you shall die. But they shall not return to the land to which their beings yearn to return. Is this man, Konyahu, a deprived broken pot, or an undesirable vessel? Why are they hurled out, he and his descendants, and cast into a land which they do not know? O land, 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 hear the word of Yahweh. Thus said Yahweh, write this man down as childless, a strong man who is not to prosper in his days, for none of his descendants shall prosper, sitting on the throne of David, and rule any more in Judah. Woe to the shepherds destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares Yahweh. He's talking to the Chazdim. Therefore thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended to them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deeds, declares Yahweh. Maybe not. Maybe he's talking to the false prophets. Therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear the increase. And I shall raise up shepherds over them, and they shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be discouraged, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahweh. See, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I shall raise for David a branch of righteousness, and a sovereign shall reign and act wisely, and shall do right ruling and righteousness in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called Yahweh, our righteousness. Therefore, see, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when they shall say no more, as Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim. But as Yahweh lives, who brought up and led the seed of the house of Israel out of the land of the north, and from all the lands where I had driven them, and they shall dwell on their own soil. My heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am a drunken man, and like a man overcome by wine, because of Yahweh, and because of his set-apart words. For the land is filled with adulterers. For the land mourns because of a curse. The pastures of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their might is not right. For both prophet and priest have become defiled. Even my house I have found their evil, declares Yahweh. Therefore their way is to them like slippery ways in the dark. They are driven on, and they shall fall in them. For I bring evil on them, the years of their punishment, declares Yahweh. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Shomron. They prophesied by Baal, and led my people Israel astray. And among the prophets of Jerusalem, I have seen a horrible matter, committing adultery and walking in falsehood. And they strengthen the hands of the evil ones, so that no one turns back from his evil. And all of them are like Sodom to me, and her inhabitants like Gomorrah. Therefore thus said Yahweh of hosts concerning the prophets, See, I am making them eat wormwood, and shall make them drink poisoned water, for defilement has gone out into the land from the prophets of Jerusalem. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, Do not listen to the words of the prophets who prophesy to you. They led you astray. They seek a vision of their own hearts, not from the mouth of Yahweh. They keep on saying to those who despise me, Yahweh has said you shall have peace. And to all who walk according to the stubbornness of their own heart, they say, No evil comes upon you. For who has stood in the counsel of Yahweh, and has seen and heard his word? Who has listened to his word and obeyed it? See, a storm of Yahweh shall go forth in a rage, a whirling storm. It whirls on the head of the wrong. And the displeasure of Yahweh shall not turn back until he has done and established the purpose of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it perfectly. Oof. 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 That one hits. The displeasure of Yahweh shall not turn back until he has done and established the purpose of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it perfectly. I did not send the prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, then they would have let my people hear my words, and they would have turned them from their evil way, from the evil of their deeds. Am I an Elohim close by, declares Yahweh, and am not Elohim afar off? And not an Elohim afar off? If anyone is concealed in secret places, would I not see him, declares Yahweh? Do I not fill the heavens and earth, declares Yahweh? Did I not fill? I have heard what the prophets have said, who prophesy falsehood in my name, saying, I have dreamed. Till when shall it be in the heart of the prophets? the prophets of falsehood and prophets of the deceit of their own heart, who try to make my people forget my name by their dreams which everyone relates to his neighbor, as their fathers forgot my name for Baal. The the prophet who has a dream, let him relate the dream, and he who has my word, let him speak my word in truth. What is the chaff to the wheat, declares Yahweh? Is not my word like a fire, declares Yahweh, and like a hammer that shatters a rock? Therefore see, I am against the prophets, declares Yahweh, who steal my words, every one from his neighbor. See, I am against the prophets, declares Yahweh, who use their tongues and say, He declares. See, I am against those who prophesy false dreams, declares Yahweh, and relate them, and lead my people astray by their falsehoods and by their reckless boasting. But I myself do not send them, nor have I commanded them, and they do not profit this people at all, declares Yahweh. And when these people, or the prophet, or the priest ask you, saying, What is the message of Yahweh? Then you shall say to them, What message? I shall forsake you, declares Yahweh. That's rough. As for the prophets and the priests and the people who say, The message of Yahweh, I shall punish that man and his house. This is what each one says to his neighbor, and each one to his brother. What has Yahweh answered? And what has Yahweh spoken? But the message of Yahweh you no longer remember. For every man's message is his own word. For you have changed the words of the living Elohim. Yahweh of hosts, our Elohim. This is what you say to the prophet. What has Yahweh answered you? And what has Yahweh spoken? But since you say the message of Yahweh, therefore thus said Yahweh, because you say this word, the message of Yahweh, I have sent to you, saying, Do not say the message of Yahweh. Therefore see, I shall utterly forget you and cast you away from my presence, along with the city that I gave you and your fathers. And I shall put an everlasting reproach on you, and an everlasting shame that is not forgotten. Yahweh showed me, and look, there were 2 baskets of figs set before the Hakal of Yahweh, after Nebuchadrezzar let me just make sure I'm not messing people up. Nebuchadrezzar. I wonder why they put the hyphen there. That's interesting. After Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, had exiled Yekon Yehu, son of Jehoiakim, sovereign of Judah, and the heads of Judah, with the craftsmen and smiths from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babel, one basket had very good figs, like the figs that are fist ripe. And the other basket had very spoilt figs, which could not be eaten, they were so spoiled. And Yahweh said to me, What do you see, Jeremiah? And I said, Figs. The good figs, very good. And the spoiled, very spoiled, which could not be eaten. They are so spoiled. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Thus said Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. Like these good figs, so do I acknowledge the exiles of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place for their own good, into the land of the Kasdim. And I shall set my eyes on them for good, and shall bring them back to this land, and shall build them and not put them down, and shall plant them and not pluck them up. And I shall and I shall give them a heart to know me, that I am Yahweh, and they shall be my people, and I shall be their Elohim, for they shall turn back to me with all their heart. And as the spoilt figs that could not be eaten because they are so spoilt, for thus said Yahweh, so do I give up Sidkiyahu, the sovereign of Judah, his heads, the rest of Jerusalem, who remain in this land, and those who dwell in the land of Mitzrayim. And I shall make them a horror to all the reigns of the earth, for evil, to be a reproach, and a byword, a mockery, and a curse, in the places to which I have driven them. And I shall send the sword, the scarcity of food, and the pestilence among them, till they are consumed from the land that I gave to them and their fathers. The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Judah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim son of Josiah, the sovereign of Judah, which was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, which Jeremiah the prophet spoke to all the people of Judah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, From the 13th year of Josiah son of Ammon, sovereign of Judah, even to this day, this is the 23rd year in which the word of Yahweh has come to me. And I have spoken to you, rising early and speaking, but you have not listened. Moreover, Yahweh has sent to you and all his servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, but you have not listened, nor inclined your ear to goodness. But you have not listened, nor inclined your ear to hear, saying, Turn back now, everyone from his evil way and from the evil of your deeds, and dwell on the soil which Yahweh has given to you and your fathers forever and ever. And do not go after other mighty ones to serve them and to bow down to them. And do not provoke me with the works of your hands, so that I do you no evil. But you did not listen to me, declares Yahweh, so as to provoke me with the works of your hands for your own evil. Therefore thus said Yahweh of hosts, because you did not obey my words, see, I am sending and taking all the tribes of the north, declares Yahweh, and Nebuchadnezzar, the sovereign of Babel, my servant, and shall bring them against this land and against the inhabitants and against these nations all around, and shall put them under the ban and make them an astonishment and a hissing and everlasting ruins. And I shall banish from them the voice of rejoicing and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, and the sound of the millstones and the light of the lamp. And all this land shall be a ruin and a waste, and these nations shall serve the sovereign of Babel 70 years. And it shall be, when 70 years are completed, that I shall punish the sovereign of Babel and that nation, the land of the Chasdim, for their crookedness, declares Yahweh, and shall make it everlasting ruins. And I shall bring on that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, and all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah has prophesied concerning the nations. For they too shall be enslaved by many nations and great sovereigns, and I shall repay them according to their deeds, and according to the works of their hands. For thus said Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, to me, Take this wine cup of wrath from my hand, and make all the nations to whom I send you drink it. And they shall drink and shake and go mad because of the sword that I am sending among them. That I took the cup from the hand of Yahweh and made all the nations drink to whom Yahweh had sent me, namely Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and the sovereigns its heads, to make them a ruin, an object of astonishment, a hissing, and a curse. And it is this, as it is this day. Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and his servants, and his heads, and all his people, and all the mixed multitude, and all the sovereigns of the land of Uz, and all the sovereigns of the lands of the Philistines, even Ashkelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the sovereigns of Sor, and all the sovereigns of Sidom, and the sovereigns of the coastlands which are beyond the sea, Dedan, and Tamah, and Buz, and all who are in the farthest corners, and all the sovereigns of Arabia, and all the sovereigns of the mixed multitude who dwell in the wilderness, and all the sovereigns of Zimri, and all the sovereigns of Elam, and all the sovereigns of the Medes, and all the sovereigns of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the reigns of the earth which are on the face of the ground. Also the sovereign of Sheshach shall drink after them. And you shall say to them, Thus said Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, Drink, be drunk, and vomit, fall and rise no more, because of the sword which I am sending among you. And it shall be, when they refuse to take the cup from your hand to drink, then you shall say to them, Thus said Yahweh of hosts, You shall drink. For look, I am beginning to bring evil upon the city which is called by my name, And should you be entirely unpunished? You are not going unpunished, for I am calling for a sword on all the inhabitants of the earth, declares Yahweh of hosts. And you shall prophesy against them all these words, and say to them, Yahweh roars from on high, and utters his voice from his set-apart dwelling place. He roars mightily over his fold, a shout as those who tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. Tumult shall come to the ends of the earth, for Yahweh has a controversy with the nations. He shall enter into judgment with all flesh. The wrong he shall give to the sword, declares Yahweh. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, See, evil is going forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind is raised up from the farthest parts of the earth. And in that day the slain of Yahweh shall be from one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, or gathered, or buried, for they are dung on the face of the ground. Howl, you shepherds, and cry, and roll yourselves in the ashes, you leaders of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and your scatterings are completed, and you shall fall like a choice vessel. And a place of refuge shall perish from the shepherds, and escape from the leaders of the flock. Hear the cry of the shepherds, and a wailing of the leaders of the flock, for Yahweh is ravaging their pasture. And the pastures of peace shall come, and the pastures of peace shall be cut down because of the burning displeasure of Yahweh. Like a lion, he shall leave his hiding place, for their land shall become a waste because of the sword of oppressors, and because of his burning displeasure. I had a minor question, which was, I wonder if Jeremiah's like writing this all down as he's getting it, and like, I'm sure like after like the 10th time he's got it all, it's all memorized at that point. But like the first couple ones, he's got like this scroll in his hand. He's like, he's got a scroll, and he's got this cup of wine. He's like, drink. They're like, nah. And he's like, okay, cool, hold on. And he sets the cups down, and he like unravels the whole scroll. And he's like, thus says Yahweh. Bro, if he came around me with a scroll, whatever he says do, I'm doing. It don't matter. I don't need, nope. Don't tell me none of that. I don't want to hear the bad news. I'll do whatever you say. He's putting the cup down. God told me you were going to say that. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm also wondering if, right, because he's like, go send this message to everybody, and he's like, dude, I went everywhere. I wonder how far I went. Like, what is Tens, Pharaoh, Boots, and the sovereigns of the coastlands which are beyond the sea? Was that the Dead Sea? I'm assuming it's the Dead Sea, but even then, right? I mean, if we were to look at a big map of Israel, let me make sure I ain't tripping. Yeah, if that's Egypt, right? This is Israel-ish, right? I'm not that good at this, but it should be somewhere here, right? So he's probably traveling this way. I mean, he went down here for sure. He definitely went to Mitzrayim. So I don't know. Who knows how far? Maybe Mitzrayim covered all of Africa. Like not literally, but anyway. It's wholly possible that he, his trek north led him into Russia. Yeah, we went to the sovereigns of Arabia. And all the sovereigns of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the reigns of the earth which are on the face of the ground. So, yeah, I mean, me personally, I think he went everywhere. And every reign that is on the face of the ground. all the rains of the earth. He did a lot of walking. But if we remember, God told him, hey, you're not taking a wife. You're not going to have kids because everybody who has a wife and everybody who has a kid is leaving and they ain't coming back. And I got something for you. He's probably like, bro, what are you talking about? I've been doing this stuff for you already. What do you mean you got something for me? I just need you to walk forever, basically. Carry this cup of wine while you're at it. And write all this down, please. Because you ain't going to remember it. Okay, I love you guys. May Yahweh bless you and guard you. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahweh lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Israel, and I myself shall bless them. Shalom, shalom.